The gunshot echoed through the vineyard like a cork popping from a bottle of '89 Cabernet. Sharp, final, and laced with the bitter tang of regret. I slammed against the cellar door, my fists raw from pounding, screaming her name into the suffocating dark. "Evelyn! For God's sake! Let me out!" But the only reply was the slow drip of spilled Merlot pooling at my feet, warm as blood, and the faint, fading whisper of Alex's last breath. "Tell her, it was always you. I never meant to let the rumors start. Hell, I never meant to drop out of Stanford at all." But in the pressure cooker world of Silicon Valley dreams, where every kid from the valley to the bay was gunning for the next big app or unicorn startup, whispers could bury you faster than a bad code review. It was sophomore year, fall of 2018, and the campus was buzzing with that electric hum of ambition. The kind that made you forget to eat, sleep, or breathe unless it was for the grind. My name's Jordan Hale, but back then, everyone just called me Jay. 20 years old, lanky as a fault line, with a mop of chestnut hair that never stayed combed and eyes the color of Pacific fog. I was majoring in computer science, minoring in pretending I had my shit together. My folks back in Sacramento, Dad a high school history teacher, Mom a nurse who'd patched up half the ER, had scraped every penny to get me there. "Make us proud, kid," Dad said on move-in day, clapping my shoulder like I was already CO material. I nodded, swallowed the lump in my throat, and dove in. That's when Evelyn crashed into my life like a glitch in the Matrix. She was a junior poli-sci major from old money in Napa, think trust funds that could buy small countries and a laugh that turned heads in crowded lecture halls. Golden curls, freckles like scattered stars, and a way of saying dude that made it sound like Shakespeare. We met at a hackathon, me hacking away at an AI ethics bot that no one cared about, her pitching a vineyard app for sustainable farming. "You're overthinking it, Jay," she said, sliding into the seat next to me with a thermos of her family's vintage Chardonnay. "Code's like wine. Let it breathe." By midnight, we were thick as thieves, pounding energy drinks and debugging her app while the rest of the team crashed. She was the first person who made Stanford feel less like a meat grinder and more like home. Late-night runs to the dining hall for greasy pizza, her stealing fries off my plate. Study sessions in the quad where she'd doodle caricatures of our profs on my notes. People started noticing. "You two are cute," my roommate teased, and I'd laugh it off, punch his arm. But the whispers, they started small. "Hale's got a girl. Evelyn and that CS nerd, total power couple." I didn't correct them, couldn't really, because beneath the banter and the all-nighters, there was Alex. Alexander Voss. The name alone still twists something in my gut. He was a grad student in the film department, tall, broad-shouldered, with ink-black hair that fell just so over hazel eyes that could pin you like a spotlight. He volunteered at the campus LGBTQ center, always in faded band tees and jeans that hugged like they were custom-made for rebellion. I first saw him at a screening of Moonlight in the student union. The room packed with bodies but feeling empty until he slid into the row behind me, his knee brushing mine in the dark. After the credits rolled, he lingered. "That ending," he said, voice low and gravelly, like aged bourbon. "Hits different when you've lived it." I turned, and there he was, grinning that half-cocked smile that said he saw right through my straight-A facade. We talked for hours after, about Mahershala Ali's quiet rage, about growing up queer in the suburbs where fag was just playground currency. He didn't push, just shared. A number scribbled on a napkin. "Text if you want to grab coffee. No pressure, Jay." Coffee turned to walks along the dish, hands accidentally on purpose brushing. Then one rainy afternoon in his off-campus apartment. A cramped one-bedroom with posters of Scorsese films peeling at the edges and a guitar he never played. We kissed. It was clumsy, desperate, like we'd both been holding our breath for years. His stubble scraped my chin, his hands firm on my waist, pulling me close enough to feel his heart hammer against mine. "I've wanted this," he murmured against my lips, and I believed him. In that moment, the world shrank to the taste of him. Coffee and mint, salt and promise. But secrets in a place like Stanford? They're like viruses in code, mutating, spreading. I kept Evelyn as my shield, unwitting at first. We'd show up to parties arm in arm, her head on my shoulder for the photos, me forcing laughs at the catcalls. "You guys are goals," they'd say, and I'd nod, stomach churning. Alex knew. We'd meet in stolen hours, midnight drives to the Santa Cruz Mountains, where the fog swallowed our whispers, or quick coffees off campus where he'd trace patterns on my hand under the table. "This doesn't have to be forever," he'd say, eyes fierce. "Just until you're ready." Ready for what? Coming out in a world that still treated queerness like a footnote? My parents, with their church potlucks and don't ask, don't tell vibes? The tech bros who'd side-eye me out of job interviews? No, I wasn't ready. So the rumors grew. Jordan's head over heels for Evelyn. Texts from home. "Bring her to Thanksgiving?" I played along, dropping hints in group chats, even letting her kiss my cheek for a viral Insta story. It was easier than the truth. Then came the leak. Some asshole from the hackathon, jealous over a lost prize, maybe hacked my phone. Screenshots hit the group chat. Text to Alex. "Miss you. Tonight." A blurry photo of us at the beach, arms slung casual but too close. The backlash was instant. WTF, hail? Stringing Evie along. Faking it with her to hide your. Evelyn saw it first. Called me at 2 a.m., voice shattering like glass. "Jay, is it true?" I froze, phone slick in my palm. It's complicated. Complicated." She laughed, bitter and broken. "You let them think we're something. For what? To play pretend boyfriend while you sneak around. It's not like that." But it was. She hung up. By morning, the campus was a minefield. Profs pulling me aside for support. Classmates averting eyes. My inbox flooded. Slurs, prayers, offers for therapy. Dad called, voice tight. "Son, we love you no matter what. But think about your future." Future. The word tasted like ash. I dropped out that week. Packed my duffel in the dead of night. Left a note for my roommate. "Needed a change. Tell Ev I'm sorry." Hitchhiked north to Napa to her family's vineyard, the one place that felt safe, or so I thought. The Voss estate sprawled like a green ocean under the October sun. Rows of Cabernet vines heavy with fruit. The air thick with earth and ferment. Evelyn's dad, Mr. Langford, hired me on the spot as a cellar hand. No questions, just a firm handshake and, "We need strong backs, son." I threw myself into the work. Pruning, crushing, racking barrels in the cool underground vaults that smelled of oak and secrets. Alex followed weeks later. He'd finished his thesis, landed a gig editing indie docs in San Francisco. But weekends? He'd drive up, claim he was scouting locations for a film on California winemakers. We'd steal moments in the shadows of the fermentation tanks, his lips on mine tasting of grape juice and urgency. "This is real, Jay," he'd whisper, fingers laced through mine. "You and me against the vines." Evelyn pretended not to notice. First, she'd breeze through the cellars in sundresses and boots, clipboard in hand, barking orders like a general. "Jordan, rack the 17ths, careful, they're finicky." Her eyes would flick to Alex, then away, jaw set. But the tension built like pressure in a bottle. Dinners at the big house, her parents toasting to family, me and Alex exchanging glances across the mahogany table. One night, after too much Pinot, she cornered me in the kitchen. "You think I don't see it? The way he looks at you. Ev, save it." Her voice cracked. "I thought we were friends. Real ones. But you used me. Like a prop. Guilt clawed me. I never meant. You did." She stepped closer, eyes blazing. "And now, you're here, in my home, rubbing it in my face. With him." Alex tried to bridge it. Invited her to a screening in the city, some queer cinema night. "Come as my +1, Evie. No drama." She went, came back quieter, but the rift widened. Whispers in the vines now, from the other hands, from town. That Hale kid's trouble. Broke the boss's daughter's heart. I buried it in work, in Alex's arms. Until the storm hit. It was a freak NorCal downpour, the kind that turns roads to rivers and skies to slate. Thunder rattled the barrels as I hauled crates in the cellar. Alex spotting me with a flashlight. "Last one, babe," he yelled over the roar. Evelyn appeared at the top of the stairs, soaked to the bone, hair plastered like a halo. "Jordan, phone your folks. Emergency." Heart in my throat, I bolted up, slipped on the slick steps, caught myself on the rail. "What happened?" She thrust the cell at me. "Static. Deadline. Lost signal. Try later." But her face, pale, eyes wild. Alex called from below. "Everything okay?" Then it happened. A crack like lightning, but inside. The bottle in her hand, a heirloom decanter from her grandma's collection, shattered against the stone wall. Shards flew, one nicking my cheek. Blood welled, hot and metallic. "You don't get it," she hissed, voice venom. "This place is all I have. And you're poisoning it." Before I could respond, the door at the top slammed shut. The lock clicked, old iron, heavy as fate. Darkness swallowed us. Alex's voice echoed up, Evie, open up." But she was gone. And in the black, with only the drip of rainwater through cracks and the faint glow of his phone screen, I realized the truth wasn't just spilling. It was flooding. The air down here was a living thing, damp, earthy, laced with the sharp bite of fermenting grapes and the musty sigh of century-old oak. My cheek throbbed where the glass had grazed it, a thin line of fire that matched the panic clawing up my spine. Alex's flashlight beam danced across the racks, illuminating labels like ghosts. 92 Zinfandel, 05 Syrah. Vintages that whispered of harvests long past, celebrations that never included locks and lies. "Jordan." His voice cut through the gloom, steady but edged with fear. I stumbled toward the stairs. Boots sloshing in the inch-deep puddle from the storm seeped through the foundation. The door above was massive, banded iron from the estate's prohibition days, when her great-granddad had hidden hooch from feds. Now it hid us. From her. From everything. I pounded again, knuckles splitting. "Evelyn, this isn't funny. Open the damn door." Silence. Then her voice, muffled through the wood. "You wanted secrets, Jay? Have 'em. Down there with your boyfriend. Figure it out." The word boyfriend hung like a noose. Alex reached me, his hand on my shoulder, warm, grounding. "Hey, breathe. She's pissed, but she'll cool off. Remember that time she locked her ex in the tasting room? He was out in 20. This was different. I could feel it in the way her laugh cracked at the end. Manic, unhinged. "She knows, Alex. About us. Everything." He pulled me into his chest, arms wrapping tight. His heartbeat was a drum against my ear, steady as the vines outside. "Then we tell her the truth. All of it." His lips brushed my temple, soft in the chaos. "I love you, Jordan Hale. Locked door or not. Love." The word we danced around for months. Whispered in cars, etched in sand at Baker Beach, but never said aloud in the light of day. Now, in this tomb of tannins, it bloomed like a rare vintage, heady and true. I tilted up, kissed him fierce, tasting salt from my cut and the faint sweetness of the gum he'd chewed earlier. "I love you too. God, I do." We weren't alone long. The cellar was a labyrinth. Tunnels branching like veins under the vineyard, lined with bins of sleeping wine. Alex's phone signal was nil, but we had light and each other. We explored, him cracking jokes to cut the tension. "If we die down here, at least we'll go out tipsy." I forced a laugh, but my mind raced. Evelyn's face, betrayed, broken. I'd used her, yeah, but she'd let me. Out of pity? Loneliness? Her parents' empire was crumbling. Droughts, tariffs, a lawsuit from a bad batch that tainted the 16 vintage. She'd confided once, over bourbon in the barn. "This place is my cage, Jay. Gold-plated, but still bars." Hours ticked by, marked by the storm's fury above. Rain hammered like fists, wind howling through vents. We hunkered in an alcove, backs to a barrel, sharing body heat. Alex pulled out his wallet, creased leather, stuffed with receipts and a faded photo of his sister. Tucked behind it, a keychain from our first hike, a tiny silver grape cluster I'd bought on a whim. "Kept this," he said, voice soft, Reminds me why I fight traffic every weekend. Tears pricked my eyes. I dropped out for nothing. Hit us for what? To protect a future that wasn't even mine. He cupped my face, thumb tracing the cut. You protected you. That's not nothing. His kiss deepened, slow and searching. A promise in the dark. We talked then, really talked. About his conservative folks in Fresno who'd disowned his uncle for being gay. About my fear of becoming that guy in tech, the token queer hire. But look at us, he said. Building something real. Brick by barrel. Thirst hit first. We rationed spit, but by dawn, or what felt like it, the dryness clawed. Alex spotted a spigot, jury-rigged for cleaning. Emergency hydration, he quipped, filling a shattered jug with tepid water that tasted of minerals and regret. We passed it, hands lingering. Then the noises started. Scratching in the walls, rats, vents groaning, and voices, faint at first, then clearer. Evelyn's parents arguing upstairs, words slicing through the floorboards. That boy's a liability, Evie. The rumors. He's gone, Dad. Handled it. My blood iced. Handled. Alex squeezed my hand. We yell. Now. We did screams, bangs, please. Nothing. Battery died on his phone at 20%. The dark pressed in, intimate and cruel. Hallucinations crept. Shadows twisting into faces. My dad's disappointed eyes. Alex held me through a breakdown, murmuring poetry from his thesis. Walt Whitman lines about comrades, bodies electric. We contain multitudes, he breathed, and for a moment, I believed we could contain this too. But Evelyn returned at twilight, her silhouette in the sliver of light under the door. Miss me. Let us out, Ev. Please. A bottle clinked. Another decanter, rolling down the stairs like a grenade. It stopped at our feet, label glinting, her grandma's '68 reserve. Drink up. To old times. You're drunk, Alex snapped. Observant. Her shadow shifted. You stole him from me, Alex. My best friend. And for what? Some closet case who couldn't man up. Words failed. She laughed, hollow. I loved you, Jay. Or thought I did. Played the part 'cause you needed it. But you played me back. The door stayed shut. We drank the wine, rich, velvety, laced with vanilla and violets, to dull the edges. It loosened tongues. Stories of first crushes, family holidays gone wrong. Alex confessed a one-night stand in college, guilt that nearly broke him. I admitted the night I almost came out to Mom, chickening out over pie. Laughter mingled with sobs, the cellar our confessional. Night 2 brought fever. The cut on my cheek infected, swelling hot. Alex tore his shirt for a compress, pressing it gentle. Stay with me, he urged as delirium pulled. Visions. Stanford Quad, Evelyn's smile. Alex's hand in mine at pride, flags waving like freedom. Fight it, he whispered, kissing my brow. We've got a life waiting. Films in the city, your code changing the world. Us, Jordan, us. His words anchored me, but weakness spread. By morning he was coughing dust, damp, despair. We rationed the wine, but it soured in our stomachs. Tell her, he rasped, leaning on me now. When we get out, tell everyone. I will. Promise sealed with a kiss, fragile as breath. Then the shot. It came from above, muffled, but unmistakable. Evelyn's scream pierced. No! Dad, what did you? Chaos erupted. Footsteps thundering, shouts. The door rattled, but not from us. A key scraped. Her dad's? Too late. Alex slumped against me, hand clutching his side, blood blooming dark on his shirt. Jordan. Love. I screamed, cradling him. The wine pooling from an overturned barrel mixing with red. Truth spilled, his mine hers, in that hellish flood. And as his eyes dimmed, I realized. The cellar wasn't the cage. The lies were. Blood. It was everywhere. Seeping from Alex's wound, slick on my hands as I pressed them to his side, warm and insistent like the rain that wouldn't quit outside. The gunshot's echo still rang in my skull, a punctuation to Evelyn's cry. Dad? Oh God! What have you done? Her voice cracked through the door, raw with horror, followed by the thud of bodies. Wrestling? Panic? I couldn't tell, the world narrowing to Alex's labored breaths, shallow and wet. Hold on, I begged, voice breaking. Evie's coming. Just hold. But his hazel eyes, those eyes that had first caught mine in the theater's glow, were glazing over. His hand, so strong on hikes and in hidden embraces, went limp in mine. Alex? Alex! A gurgle, faint. Tell her. It was always you. His lips curved, a ghost of that crooked smile, and then nothing. The light in him snuffed out, leaving me in a void blacker than the cellar's depths. I howled. A primal, guttural sound that tore from my chest and bounced off the stone walls, mingling with the storm's roar. Rocking him, blood soaking my jeans, I pounded the floor until my fists bled anew. Evelyn, help us. He's... The word wouldn't come. Dead. My love gone. For what? A father's rage? A daughter's despair? The door flew open at last, hinges screaming like banshees. Light flooded in, lanterns, flashlights, blinding, surreal. Evelyn tumbled down first, face streaked with mascara and mud, her curls wild. Jordan! She froze at the sight. Alex's body cradled in my lap, the wine and blood lake spreading. Behind her, her father, Mr. Langford, silver-haired titan in a soaked flannel, loomed, shotgun dangling loose in his grip, eyes wide with the shock of a man who's crossed a line he can't uncross. You shot him, I whispered, voice venom. Rising slow, Alex's weight slipping to the cold floor, I lunged. Evelyn caught me, arms iron bands. No, Jay, stop. Her dad staggered back, gun clattering down the stairs. I thought he was hurting you. The screams. Evie said you were trapped with an intruder. His voice trembled, the vineyard king reduced to a quivering fool. Lies even now. Evelyn shoved him hard. You idiot. Alex was his. She choked, turning to me. Jordan, I'm so sorry. I locked you into, to make you feel it. The betrayal. But Dad, he heard the noise, thought. Thought what? That I'd fight back. I laughed, hysterical, shards of glass crunching underfoot. You both killed him. Your cage, your gun. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had called 911, a hand piecing together the nightmare. Paramedics swarmed, prying Alex from me, their faces grim under yellow rain slickers. Time of death, 3:47 a.m. Clinical, cold. Evelyn sobbed into my shoulder, but I shrugged her off, numb. Her dad sat on the stairs, head in hands, muttering prayers to a God who'd long forsaken this plot. They took him away on a stretcher, sheets stark white against the night. I followed in the ambulance's wake, Evelyn driving her Jeep like a demon, headlights cutting fog. The hospital in St. Helena was a blur. Sterile halls, cops with notepads, questions that blurred into white noise. Relationship to the deceased? Locked in the cellar, why? I answered in monosyllables, staring at the tile that looked like veins. Evelyn confessed it all to the sheriff. The lockout, the wine as twisted apology, her call to Dad in a drunken haze. I just wanted him to hurt like I did. Manslaughter charges loomed for her old man. Reckless discharge, they called it. But intent? That was murkier. She clutched my arm in the waiting room. Jay, forgive me. Please. I was angry, lost. But I never meant this. I pulled away, the cut on my cheek now stitched but pulsing. You used me too, Ev. For your image, the perfect daughter with the perfect life. And when it cracked, you shattered us. Dawn broke bloody over the hills as they released me. No charges for me, just a witness, a survivor. I walked the vineyard alone, vines drooping heavy with unharvested fruit, the air sharp with petrichor and grief. Alex's car still in the lot, keys in the ignition. I sat inside, his scent, leather and cologne, clinging to the seats. A half-finished script on the dash, echoes in the vines. Our story, coded as fiction. I drove to the overlook, the valley sprawling like a bruise, and screamed until my throat rawed. Back home, Sacramento now, not the estate, the funeral was a quiet affair. His sister flew in from Portland, hugged me fierce. He talked about you non-stop, said you were his North Star. Mom and Dad came, arms open despite the unspoken. We're here, son, Dad said, no judgment in his eyes. I came out that week, over coffee black as my mood. I'm gay, Dad. And I loved him. Tears, then embraces. We love you too. Always did. Evelyn called daily, voicemails thick with remorse. The winery's yours, J. Halfsteak. For Alex. Please, talk to me. I deleted them, but the offer gnawed. The Langford's empire teetered. Dad in jail awaiting trial. Mom retreating to Europe. Evie shouldering the vines alone. Tabloids sniffed around. Vineyard Heir's deadly secret. But she fought, selling stories of redemption, sustainable futures. Months blurred. I crashed at a buddy's in Oakland, tinkered with code for queer nonprofits, apps for safe spaces, anonymous confessions. Nights, I'd wake sweating, Cellar dark pressing, Alex's whisper echoing. Therapy helped, slow as aging wine. Unpacking the closet, the rumors, the lock that saved and damned. Then the letter came, handwritten on Langford Vineyard stationery. Jordan, I'm selling out. Moving to the city, starting over. But before I go, the cellar. There's something you need to see. For closure. Evie. Against every instinct, I went. Drove up Highway 29, heart hammering like barrels rolling. The estate looked forlorn. Vines untended. Tasting room shuttered. She met me at the big house. Thinner, shadows under her eyes. But that laugh still there. Tentative. Thanks for coming. We descended together, the stairs creaking under silence. No lock now, just open maw. She led to our alcove, where the blood had dried to faint rust. From a hidden panel, Prohibition smuggle spot, she pulled a bottle. 68 Reserve, half full, label stained. The one I rolled down, drank from it after. Everything. I took it glass cool. Why? She sank against a rack, voice small. I locked you in to punish you, but really, to punish me, for loving you wrong, thinking it was romantic, not just safe. Tears tracked her cheeks. Alex saw it first, told me months ago, gentle-like. He's family to you, Evie. Let him be. But I couldn't. Jealousy twisted it. Jealous of what? I knelt beside her, the wine between us like a mediator. Of you too, real. Brave in ways I wasn't. She met my eyes, raw. I'm bi Jay. Always was. Dated girls in high school, hid it for Dad's legacy. You and Alex? You made me want to try. The confession hung, heavy as humidity. Not absolution, but understanding, a bridge over the chasm. I'm sorry, she whispered, for the cage, for not seeing sooner. I uncorked the bottle, poured 2 splashes into chipped mugs. To truth, spilled and salvaged. We drank, the vintage smooth despite the years. Notes of black cherry, earth, a finish of quiet hope. Outside, the sun slanted gold through vents, vines stirring in breeze. What now? She asked. Now, we rebuild. You with your city dreams. Me, maybe code for the vines. An app for queer winemakers, hidden histories. She smiled. First real one in months. He'd like that. Yeah. He would. A year later, the Napa Valley hummed with rebirth. Not the glossy brochures of sun-drenched estates, but the gritty kind, where scars from drought and scandal faded into fertile soil. The Langford name clung stubborn, but Evelyn had rebranded. Voss and Hale Vineyards, a nod to the man we'd lost and the one who'd survived. Half the profits funneled to queer youth programs. Scholarships for outcasts coding their way out of closets, film grants for stories untold. It wasn't penance. It was purpose. I moved back full-time, into the guest cottage overlooking the crush pad. No more cellars for me. Not to work, anyway. Days blurred in sun and soil. Debugging the app on my laptop under pergolas. Vines twisting like veins of green fire. The software? A quiet revolution, GPS for safe meetups. Encrypted chats for confessions, VR tours of LGBTQ landmarks from Stonewall to the Castro. Alex would have geeked out, strumming that guitar to the beta tests. Evelyn thrived in the chaos. City girl now, splitting weeks between San Francisco's buzz and the vineyard's hush. She dated a barista with tattoos and a poet's soul, openly, fiercely. Took you locking me in to lock eyes with myself. She'd quip over harvest dinners, her laugh echoing freer. Her dad's trial ended in a plea. 5 years. Community service in the vines upon release. Mom sent postcards from Tuscany, whispers of reconciliation. Proud of you, daughter. Me? Healing was vintage, layered, patient. Mornings, I'd run the rows, feet pounding earth that had drunk Alex's blood, now birthing new growth. His sister visited often, scattering his ashes in a private ceremony at the overlook. To echoes in the vines. We hiked it together, her arm linked in mine, sharing stories. He said you were the plot twist he never saw coming, she told me once, wind whipping her scarf. The happy one. Nights were harder. I'd pour a glass from the 18 vintage, our first joint label, bold and unapologetic, and sit on the porch, stars pricking the black like code compiling. Memories flooded. His hand in mine at the dish, fog curling. The cellar's dark, his breath on my neck. Grief wasn't a wave anymore, more a current, carrying me forward. Therapy unpacked the rest. The rumors that started it all, the dropout shame, the betrayal's sting. You survived a lock, my counselor said. A queer vet with a sailor's tattoo. That's your strength. Build on it. And I did. The app launched at a pride event in Oakland. Rainbow flags snapping, bass thumping from food trucks. Evelyn emceed, golden under stage lights. This is for the ones we lock away, inside, outside. For Alex, who taught us to spill the truth. I demoed from the crowd, voice steady. It's not just code. It's coming out one click at a time. Downloads spiked. Emails poured. You saved me. This is us. A month later, twist of fate. A film scout from Sundance, scouting Napa for indies. Heard about Voss. Tragic, but redemptive. Evelyn pitched. Make it real. Jordan's story. Me, reluctant star. But Alex's script, those pages from his dash, became the backbone. We filmed in the cellars, ironic, healing. Actors tracing our steps. The lock, the love, the shot. I consulted off-camera, advising on the quiet beats, the handholds that said more than words. Premiere was magic. Castro Theater, Art Deco glow, crowd electric. Evelyn on my arm, friends again, solid. As the credits rolled, in memory of Alexander Voss, tears flowed free. Q&A after, how'd you turn pain to power? I paused, lights hot, by spilling it. No more cellars. After party spilled to the streets. San Francisco alive, neon and fog. A guy caught my eye. Mid-20s curly hair, camera slung like a shield. Loved the film, he said, voice warm. Reminded me of my own coming out hike. We talked till dawn. Over tacos at a taqueria, his laugh easy, eyes kind. No rush, no shadows. Just possibility. Evelyn texted at sunrise. See? Vintage truths age well. I smiled, fog lifting. Back at the vineyard, harvest peaked. Grapes bursting sweet. Workers singing in Spanish under the moon. I walked the rows alone. Then not. The new guy, Marcus, visiting for a story on queer winemakers. This place, he said, hand brushing mine. It's got heart. Yeah, I replied, lacing fingers. Beats loud. We kissed there, Vine's witness, soft, sure, no locks between. Evelyn watched from the porch, mug raised. To us, all of us. The cellar? We turned it. Tasting room now, walls lined with bottles and stories. Photos of Alex midlaugh, pride flags woven in rafters. No more hiding. Truth spilled, fermented into something fine. A life, bold and bright. In the end, it wasn't happy or tragic, just human. Flawed, full forward. Like the best wines, it lingered on the tongue, promising more.